I was known for wild and never known for styling. With that chrome, I'm spazzing out. On my buck for nothing, on the block I'm bustin'. How could God forgive a clown? Like killer bees, I'm buzzing here to see I'm struggling. Ain't no way to drink this high. How could God forgive me now?
What's up, Corey?
Really wanna be, I really wanna be God's man. I really wanna see, I really wanna see God's plan. I know it's more for me, I know it's more for me. Lord knows let me be everything you want from me.
Well, what y'all doing is, it's something. Corey, what y'all doing is something like you is something. Whitney Joseph. Hey, Mama. Natasha. Christopher. All right. Blessings on you too, Christopher. A man's man. While some of y'all coming in now, I want y'all to tag some of your brothers, uncles, nephews, tag some of the men that's in your life. Tell them God's man on deck. How you doing? Good evening to you too. Hey, baby, there go my wife. Raymond, what's going on? Boy, I ain't seen you in a minute. Okay. So, I was dealing with a subject. Stefanetta, how you doing? I was dealing with a subject, and I guess I've been dealing with it for a minute, just meditating on some things. Before I go any further, I just want to thank God for my lovely, my beautiful wife, Jamila. I want to thank God for UCI. I want to thank God for CCM, Corey. I want to thank God for the people that's around us, Deloria, Michelle, the Re Warrior. Thank God for them. Thank God for everybody that makes it easy to do ministry. God bless you, Sinceria, Washington. Thank God for you all. It is indeed an honor for God to use me. It is indeed an honor for God to use you. He does not have to do it. The moment we think he has to do it, that's the moment where we have gotten off. I'm telling you right now. So Thursday has been a good day. It's just been a good day, been a restful day. It's been a good day. And I'm so thankful. If you have not went out and got to Catharsis, I want you to go to bandcamp.com. I want you to go to pastorfred.bandcamp.com. I want you to go and get the project. You can listen to the project. But I also want you to download the project. I guarantee you in a minute, really coming up soon. I put up a flyer a while ago about conversations. It's called Conversations and Verses. I'm going to be talking about every song on there. But tonight I want to talk about the subject of man's man. I want to talk about the subject of man's man. And the subject came to me because of how a lot of men are. And sometimes being a man's man can be your own worst. You can be your own worst enemy. You can be your own worst fight. Because when you, I need y'all to click, I need you to tag, I need you to share especially with some men, and deal with some men. I want you to click and tag and share with some men that definitely have been going through issues. Men don't speak a lot. They don't talk a lot. But I want to talk about the subject being a man's man. And when the subject of being a man's man comes from somebody that really deals with men, or a man that deals with men, and a lot of men are not like that. In fact, I came up in the church up under a pastor that really did not deal with men like that, you know. So he wasn't. He was the type of pastor. He dealt with all ladies. But when men came in, he kind of side-eyed them. He kind of give them a handshake, give them a little chuckle, and he kind of moved away. You know, he was that type of guy. That's the type of man he was. But I've always been a man's man. I've always been a guy that was able to minister, and always been a guy that always have conversations. But being a man's man also by nature can be one of the things that will fight you, especially as a husband, because sometimes you'll begin to fight yourself, and where you should prosper at, you won't prosper because you can't listen. One thing about a man's man can be very prideful. We can become very prideful very quick in our own thinking, in our own home, in our own businesses, because we don't listen all the time to what's being given to us. Being a man's man doesn't just mean that other men may respect you. It does in that regard, but you have to come to a place where now you can really develop your thinking and being that, so you can be who God have called you to be. And one of the things I thought about when God calls you the head, what does that mean? What does it mean when the Lord calls you the head of the house? When he calls you the head of the house, right? So in your mind, automatically in your mind, how you doing, Carmen? Automatically in your mind, you think when you hear the head of the house, you hear the one in charge. You hear the one that's you hear the one in charge. You hear the one that can command. You hear the ones, but you don't hear it right, because that's not what head means. I love the way that the Bible lays out being the head, because actually when you are the head of something, it means that you're the foundation that is laid upon. You're not the head. And because when you look at head the wrong way, God really can't use you and give you the wisdom that you really need, because pride comes in and you can't hear the wisdom by means you need to operate with. Yes, the Bible calls you the head, but you don't understand what God is saying when he calls the man the head, according to Genesis. When you look at the operation and you look at Adam himself, and you go back to the garden and you revisit the operation, you see that God gave Adam dominion over everything but man. He gave him dominion over all the animals. He gave him dominion over all the creatures. He gave him dominion over everything that was in the earth realm, but he did not give him dominion over the woman, because the woman was the helpmeet. The woman was the one that would walk with him. So when men get in their heads get in their minds that I'm the head and everything should operate by me, everything should follow me, then you've already gotten out of position so that God can give you the wisdom. And then from that point, you begin to agitate what is now your helpmeet, because she can't help meet you because you won't listen to her. I hope y'all getting this. I want you to revisit. I want you men, and I need you to click, tag, and share with some of these men, because you need to hear this. It's wonderful and it's liberating, because God shows you something. I think I was talking with my wife about this, but he shows you in that if I'm moving a table, right? If I'm in there and I'm doing some work in there and I'm moving the table, and there is not another man that's around that can particularly help me move the table, right? I call now, the table isn't so heavy that my wife can't help, but I can't balance the table to move it by myself, right? So then I call my wife, right? And she gets the other side of the table, and then she helps me to move the table. She is not the weaker vessel. She is the delicate vessel, because she possesses just as much strength to help me move the table. So now we can accomplish a goal, because now I'm using muscle, she's using muscle. But if I see her in the wrong light, she can't help me because I see myself wrong. And a lot of you guys right now are in relationships where you are out of balance because you see yourself as the head. You're saying she should do this and she should do that and she should do this. And honestly, you have not evaluated what head means. Head does not mean everything follows you. Head really means that you're the foundation. And I love that, because now you can go and you can buy the greatest, you can buy the biggest house, right? You can buy the biggest house. It can be in the best neighborhood. It can be, and it can be in a gated community. It can have all the bells and whistles, but if it does not have a good foundation, that house is not going to stand. In fact, the Bible says that any house that's built upon sand, he said that house will be washed away. And a lot of your relationships right now are it's causing you trouble. You're getting trouble in your relationships. You're going through torments in your relationships because you're seeing it wrong. He didn't call you to be the dominator or have dominion over your woman. He didn't call you to be the dominator or have dominion. He called her a helpmeet. He called her a delicate balance to help you come together and to do something great. But if all you see is I'm supposed to, we was talking about we was having a conversation, and this guy, just for the sake of conversation, I guess she didn't come in and make dinner on time. She was doing something else, and, he runs out and he curses her out, right? You get in and you do such and such, and you need, listen. And so he because she wasn't particularly at that moment where he thought she needed to be, he thought that he had a right to cuss her out and you got to watch this, man. You got to watch this, because first of all, you don't see yourself right. You are called Adam, and Adam he's not a dominator. Adam is the foundation. What's going on, Les? And if anytime you can cuss out what is called delicate in your life as the foundation, you tearing up your own house. So he thought he had the right to now and go speak to her any kind of way because maybe she wasn't doing what he thought she should be doing. But that's not being the head. That's not how a man operates. No. When a man is the foundation, when the man is that which it sits upon, the man brings balance in it. See, one of the things that's so lovely that people have seen is that my wife stood in her own light, right? And then they see me come into the picture, but they didn't see her shift out of her light. They didn't see her shift and become something else. Her light began to burn brighter. Why? Because as a husband, I came to be a foundation that brought balance, not a dominator that dimmed the light and caused her to be something else. You didn't see that. What you saw was a man come in to be the foundation. Now that's hard for a lot of you men, and you ain't gonna tell the truth. It's hard because you think that you should walk a certain way and that she should walk a certain way. But the real glory is when she is steadfastly developing and becoming and manifesting into something greater than she ever was. I can say this to some of you men that have gotten divorced and you're in another relationship right now, or you have remarried, you ain't learned nothing the first time. And that's a problem. It's a problem if you didn't learn anything the first time. See, this is what a lot of men get caught up on. If you were in the right, let's just say that for the sake of argument that you wasn't wrong in a divorce. You ain't do nothing wrong. You was right about everything. And then it happened and you're in another relationship now. You're getting ready to get married, or you're married already, but you get into this new relationship and you're still the same person. See, whether you was wrong or not, it should have been something that you pulled from the previous to help build where you are right now. You got to know that if her light is being dimmed, the one thing I will tell any man that has a wife that has a light that burns bright, anytime if there's something in you, and even if you haven't spoken about it, if there's something small in you that wants her light, what's going on, Levi? That wants her light to burn or be dimmer, then you got the wrong concept of marriage. You got the wrong concept of relationship. You can never have a virtuous woman because you're not a virtuous man. Think about it. The virtuous man is silent in Proverbs 31. They don't talk about it. They talk about the virtuous woman. They talk about how she prospers. They talk about how she moves. They talk about her wisdom. They talk about the gift that she is. They don't talk about the man. It even talks about how she blesses him. But I'm going to tell you something. There is no way that she could shine like that if she had a man that was a dominator. She couldn't have had a man that just went by nothing but religious rules and regulations. She had a man that understood who she was, and he allowed her. Watch, because the Proverbs 31 woman also did business. So you got to ask yourself something. Who are you? Where are you in the relationship? Do you got to have the last word? Do you got to have the last word? See, the one thing, what I love is I'm an introvert by nature. Now, I preach, I teach, I perform, I do music, but I'm still an introvert. My wife is an extrovert all day. Now, some men, that's a man's man, you couldn't deal with a woman that's an extrovert because you think she need to be quiet because you're quiet. You trying to dim a light. You're jealous because of what's going on. And God says, find out who you are so you can stretch and make what you have greater. He says, you're not, watch this, you're not manifesting, or you're not pressing and pushing and supporting. The one thing I love about Adam is he was performing everything God told him to do. And when his helpmeet came, you knew the way that he loved her. Even though something happened, and even though it might went bad for a moment, it's still the overall story of Adam and Eve was a love story about a man that loved a woman, not a dominator that felt he needed to dominate. Some of y'all preachers need to retract not the truth of the text, but the way that you release the text. Because if you release the text like they need to be quiet, or if you release the text like you need to be the one that's on the scene. If you release the text like, man, you gotta watch that, because you're not telling men to be men that builds up, and that builds a great foundation, and that presses up, and that manifests and brings manifestation to something greater in his home, not just in his wife, but in his wife, in his children, in his sons, in his daughters, in his grandchildren. But a dominator don't do nothing but give out wrong direction and give out wrong examples. And you know what he raises? He raises more men that think they need to be dominators, and they have more bad relationships. The fact of the matter is we got too many men in what we call the church that had not heard the word right, and their vision ain't working. Your vision ain't working. Things are not moving forward, and it's because you're out of position. The first thing you gotta do is be positioned right in your home. If you're positioned right in your home, you can be positioned right. You'll be positioned right in the world, and vision will happen for you. Some of the worst things that some of you guys have done. And wow, now see, I'm talking to some men that know scripture, talking to some men that don't know scripture. But if all you read in Paul's epistles is things that favor you, then you're out. You got it wrong. You have to now go back and look at who is really God calling me to be in this time. Who am I supposed to be for my wife? Who am I supposed to be for my sons? Who am I supposed to be for my daughter? What examples? Because being a dogmatic head is not being the one that's loved. What I am striving for as a man, I'm striving for as a man that people will see me as a man and see the love of Christ coming off me. And seeing the love of Christ come off me, see a man that's a man's man, but see a happy wife, happy children, happy grandchildren. Watch this. That's not dominating, but a man that's honored. And see, God really wants you, some of you men, he wants you to be honored. He don't want you to be a dominator. And the reason why I keep saying dominator is because most of you have read Genesis and you read it wrong. Because when he was talking about dominion, you can't find nowhere in that text where he gave you dominion over man. And some of you right now are thinking that you're supposed to have dominion. And that's why your marriage is going astray right now. That's why your relationship is going astray right now. That's why things are going wrong right now. And you're saying to yourself, how can I win her back? You know how you do it? First, redefine in your own mind what head means. I was listening to the word of God this morning. My wife was preaching, right? And it came to me. She was preaching about talents, preaching about the virgins, right? The 5 foolish, 5 wise. And it said that, watch this. It said that the 5 foolish and the 5 wise were waiting on the bridegroom. Listen to this, men. The bridegroom. That caught me. I say, why did he say bridegroom? Why didn't the text just say groom? It said the bridegroom because the woman should always be first. Not head, first. Glory to God. Why should she be the head? Because she's the carrier. Why should she be the head? Because she's the incubator. When you don't take care of the one that's the incubator, she incubates. So everything from the time that she begins to grow, but from a woman's body begins to grow and she begins to have children, she begins to have wisdom, she is the incubator. And when a man doesn't take care of the one that brings out vision and births family, becomes a matriarch and passes on knowledge. And she passes on knowledge that men don't know about, because while she's bathing the children, she's passing on knowledge. While she's sitting with them, she's passing on knowledge. When she's driving with them, she's passing on knowledge. When she cooking, ain't saying nothing, she's passing on knowledge. And what you have done is you see yourself first. I said, why Christ? Christ is called the bridegroom in the text. He's called the bridegroom. Brother, you got to get this. What you're feeling right now, you might need to change, or you might need to evaluate, why do I feel like this? Because you saying yourself, you don't feel like no man's man, and you probably don't feel like that because you have improperly defined what a man's man is. You have improperly positioned yourself. And sometimes, Christopher, sometimes, Corey, we just need to talk. I love it. I love it. You know, sometimes my wife will say, because as a man, Bobby McLaurin, as a man, sometimes we won't use our words. She'll say, and I tell you, she'll say, use your words. And I say, okay. Sometimes if you can get it out the right way, it'll help you be the man you need to be. Because sometimes the woman that you're with, she don't understand how to be your helpmeet. What's up, Katie? She don't understand how. So how can she help you, Lavelle, if she doesn't know how? How can you want her to guess? You want her to guess what? How to help? You want her to guess? Because we as men, we can get emotionless or not emotionless, but we just put it all in the inside like a pipe. And then we looking crazy, Rufus. But if we use, but you say, okay, well, dang. Whew, man, I don't want to argue. Everything ain't got to be no argument if it's said right. Everything don't have to be no argument if you can keep your cool. You have to understand who you are. I'm the head. I'm the head. She should do this and she should do that. Honestly, when you've gone through something bad, you went through some crazy stuff, right? You've experienced. See, the one thing that we have is that both of us have experienced some terrible relationship. And so when you experience something terrible, you want to be better. Now, it doesn't mean that we are both complete, because we're still growing, merging as we are one. We're merging and even becoming more one, but it's work behind it. But if I allow the wrong mindset to come, I allow now the enemy to come up, and not the enemy on the outside, the enemy within. Some of you need to stop saying you're dealing with the devil. No. You're dealing with your inner self. You're dealing with old concepts because you was up under a dogmatic bishop and all the women wore head wraps, long skirts, and you might not have stayed there. You might have left when you was 21, but it's still in you. So you're thinking that it should go a certain way. And right now you're about to mess up something good because you don't understand who you are, Travis. You don't understand who you are in it. Is that Travis or Travaris? I think it's Travaris. God bless you. This is Pastor Fred, God's Man on Deck, and I'm still growing. Being a husband is a lifetime, not just a lifetime commitment, but it's a lifetime in the classroom until you hit eternity. There will always be lessons to learn. But if I see it, that I'm the foundation, that every now and then there might be a crack. And the crack comes because it needs calcium. Yep. Same calcium going our body, the same calcium in our teeth and our bones is the same type of calcium that they pour inside the foundation. And so every now and then, it don't matter how you build it, sometimes you need calcium because there's a crack there. But if I'm the dominator, man, I got this. If you still cussing out, if you can still cuss her out, if you could call her out her name and you be all right because you was drinking and because I don't care. If you can do that, then you ain't got it, bruh. You ain't there yet. If your hands, if you still feel like You got to fight to show who you are. You got to raise your hand. You ain't got it. You know what brings honor? A humble man. Not false humility, but a humble man can say, deliver, and sometimes even be quiet when he needs to. A humble man can let expression come without it being a fight. Here's the other side of that coin. You don't just need to talk, but you need to allow her to talk. John Joy Pleasant, right now, he had some laughing up there. I don't know if I said something funny. But you got to get it right. You got to get it right. You got to say to yourself, can I be humble? Because some of you brothers, you got to realize, you had a bad example for a pop. You had a bad example for your pop. Your pop was a bad example. Yeah, he was a bad example. He was a bad example. You just got to admit it. You got to admit it. And now God gives you a woman of your dreams, right? And you done been through all these relationships. Bruh, you 35, you 35, you 40, you 45, you 50. Bruh, the curtain coming down. The curtain coming down. You got to do something different. You cannot keep moving in the same direction. This is what some of you men say. Some of you men say, well, shoot, if this don't work out, I'll find somebody else. You don't understand, Adam. You don't understand. And you ain't finna like this. You ain't gonna like this, bro. He says, whatsoever I have joined together, let no man bring asunder. Whatsoever I've joined together. You ain't finna like this. God only fitted Adam and Eve. He did not make a backup. Ooh-wee. I don't care how many you done been through. You may have not met her yet. Then again, you might have messed up. I don't know. But this is the thing. You can't keep running woman to woman. Somebody you got to learn. Somebody you got to develop with. Because he never meant for a man to be by himself. Somebody you have to learn. Somebody you have to be patient. And if you right now about to mess up with somebody that's got patience with you and you know you act a donkey, you got to get it right. Being a man's man don't mean that you know, I come in the house when I want to come in. I be there. Being a man's man means that your wife respects you. Kids respect you. Not only, watch this, the community respects you. You know, when even the young dudes, whether they in the streets or not, they see somebody, they be like, what up, Unc? They see somebody, even though they ain't there right then, even though they're not at the place right then where, you know, where they ain't trying to get married or be in one, they see something that they can model themselves after. I always want to be something that somebody can model myself after. But if I live just for me, if everything is about me, then I can never be a man's man. A man's man is not a man that talk with other men. A man's man is a man that can be an example. And he can be an example under pressure. It's time to get this. So we talking about next level. We saying, what you gonna do with it now? How you gonna rock now? So that's it. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. The bridegroom. The bridegroom. That's what my wife was saying this morning. She was saying, well, the bridegroom coming. The bridegroom coming. If you're being the man that you're supposed to be, that announcement will be made when people see you. They'll say, that's a man right there. Yeah. And not, listen, other men will say, that's a man right there. Not because he flexing muscle, not because he's dominating, not because he's loud, not because he can be stubborn. But a man's man is a man that can steadfastly bring manifestation and transformation to everything around him. And when he does error, he can humbly, watch this, he can humbly apologize. That's right. That's right, men. Apologize and keep moving. The one thing I do know, everybody can't apologize, but that'll be your undoing, because nobody wants to be with somebody that's full of pride. Nobody. So this is the thing. Be a man's man. Remember who you are. Remember, to all my brothers, be this, but it's time for you to do something different. To some of you dudes that like to cuss out, you still cuss your lady out because you think it's all right, because you're hearing it on the little songs and you seeing little people do that or whatnot. Bruh, grow up. Come on now. Come on now. Grow up. You got to stop that. I would say you don't cuss your mama out, but it's some folk that do that. My mama taught me respect. Taught me respect. I was never one of them dudes calling women bees and all of that stuff. Never was me. Never was me. Never was me. And so that's not a part of my build up and my makeup. And if that's something in you, it's gotta go. Because that's not what God called. That's not what he called. And I don't care whether you're in the church or outside of the church. You still know better. Keep your hands to yourself. Stop saying crazy stuff. If she worth it, stop talking about you the head. And if you do say you the head, understand, yep, I'm the head, but I'm the foundation. All right? Let's do something different. Let's be different. This is Pastor Fred, God's man on deck, and we got a lot going on. I want you to get ready tomorrow night at the church at UCI, 55323 East Independence Boulevard. It's our prophetic prelude. There is going to be, I'm already tell you, Wednesday night Bible study. If you didn't catch it, it was on fire. The Spirit of the Lord didn't do nothing but run through the house and prepare it. When I say it's prepared, it's prepared. It's prepared. And right now, all you got to do is walk in there Friday night. Friday night is our prophetic prelude, and 7 o'clock starts. 7 o'clock the service gonna start. Be there. Be there. Again, if you have not downloaded the Catharsis, you know what? I'm just a little bit. If you ain't downloaded the Catharsis, and see, now some of y'all want to know about Pastor Fred. Some of y'all want to know. You want to know what, dang, Wade, you know, but some of y'all just think I magically appeared like, some of y'all think I magically appeared like the little elf at the end of the rainbow. And y'all like, where in the world he come from? Some of y'all don't know. You don't know history. You don't know past. But the Catharsis is just a memoir. It's a memoir of things and that happened, and just me releasing them. And one of the first tracks that you really need to check out is Real Talk. If you have not, I'm gonna give you the first verse. Y'all want this right here? I'm gonna give you this right here. This Real Talk right here.
once a kid.
I really thought they had me, real talk. It up just to blast them, real talk. Believe the rumors.
Anthony Dallas.
Real talk. That's the friend.
Moan one, real talk.
Real talk. Real talk.
Pastor Fred and I'm on one, real talk.
Real talk. Real talk. That's the friend and I'm on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can call it smoke or you can call it gas. You can call it what you want, but I'm gonna get that. Forgive me, I took it from some entitled. From the start, always 100 with them. Sharing my heart with them. Sharing my life with them. Sharing my vision with them. Why they acting so forgetful. Just listen. Everything I ever did for you. Believe the rumor from a liar what they did for you. I was 100 proof flame like expensive vodka. Drunk with wisdom that I gave. Left your heart solid. You can never say I played. I was never rocking. I guess that Judas kiss is sweet. Now my voice foreign.
I really thought they had me, real talk.
That's all y'all get right now. Bandcamp, Pastor Fred, Bandcamp. I want you to go there. I want you to listen to the product. Listen to the project. And yeah, it's a product too. Listen to the project. Get it. It will minister to you. I don't care where you are. If you've been through any type of church hurt, it will it will minister to you. If you've been through any type of church hurt, you've been through divorce, you've been through some stuff, but you survived it, you're on the other side of it, I want you to go to bandcamp.com. Pastor Fred. All right. Good night. I love y'all.